Namaskar. Hello and welcome to P Guru's channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. This is a special transmission because I wanted to capture some things that are happening in Tamil Nadu and as well as in the rest of the country. Fast moving developments. You are now seeing a host of lawsuits being filed against Udhayanidhi Stalin for his intemperate comments on Sanatana Dharma, and that is going to take a life of its own and it's going to wind through the courts. I think that the courts are now taking a much more narrow interpretation of freedom of speech, and this man could be in hot water, just like Rahul Gandhi is. He's still in hot water. For those of you who may think that he's out, he's escaped jail. So, point I'm trying to make is that Udhayanidhi Stalin wanted to divert people's attention away from the second phase of Annamalai's Padyatra, and I'm going to share with you where he is approximately today in his Padyatra. Can we have the slide deck, please? So, he started, this is the map of Tamil Nadu, the state, and he started, if you look closely at Rameshwaram, which is in Ramanathapuram district. From there, he has been winding his way down south, and now the video that I'm going to show you, he's actually in a place called Tenkasi and the area around it. I'm not sure if Tenkasi has become a district on its own now, but it is really down south. It's either Kanyakumari or Tirunelveli. It will be one of those two districts. That is where he is today. I'm going to share with you a video of Annamalai that shows the rousing reception he's getting in there. But more importantly, let us get back to let's play this. It's okay. Let's play this. This is a place called Alangulam. A few ththings about this march. I don't know how many of you noticed, but the first poster that you saw celebrating a local hero, his name is Veerapandya Kattabomman. He stood up against the British and he was, of course, hanged for it. But the folklore says that he fought with them, he hid for some time. There's a big story behind it. But the most important thing is the people there are very proud of that. And that small kid was showing that he was dressed up as Veerapandya Kattabomman. The second thing I noticed there was, if you see, somebody was tying the local thing, they call it Parivattam. Parivattam is actually a Sanskrit word, which is like talapa, the head ornament that you do. Some are more ornate, some look like a crown, but this is the fastest Parivattam that I saw being tied. 10 seconds flat. The man had his art down pat. And even as he was getting tied, he had one of the MLAs of BJP from Tamil Nadu, Nainar Nagendran, and that man was actually wearing a kirit, and the kirit was slipping away from his head. So he's shaking on his right hand, and the left side he's trying to set right that kirit. Also, you saw that now there are posters with Modi ji's achievements. That messaging is going through very, very powerfully. You saw a lot of old women watching Annamalai's procession, and the crowds are unbelievable. This is the second phase. People thought that after a few days it will die down. If anything, it has gone up. Also, you might have noticed one person called Velur Ibrahim who was accompanying him in this Padyatra, and he is from BJP in Velur area, and it's possible that he might contest for Lok Sabha from there. Very popular. I'm sorry, very popular and very nationalistic and very patriotic. And it's important to recognize that this is not one particular community, one particular religion. It is pan India. So that's where that thing stands. Now let's come back to what has been happening with Mr. Udhayanidhi Stalin. You saw that Karan Singh, a senior leader of the Congress, he has written a letter expressing his strong disapproval at the choice of words of Udhayanidhi Stalin. Now, why did Udhayanidhi Stalin say this? We know now that he's a Christian. Well, this is definitely the area where Annamalai is moving through now. They have significant amount of Christian population. For instance, this district of Kanyakumari, depending on who you talk to, it's 50-50. 50% Hindu, 50% Christian. And perhaps a small percentage Muslim also. The thing is that this is, it was intended to create some sort of a passion among them. Not only that, having seen this thing blow up spectacularly in his face, Udhayanidhi Stalin started to bat more defensive. But more interestingly, another facet emerged. I need to introduce you to a local party in Tamil Nadu called Naam Tamizhar Katchi. That means we are Tamilians. And this person, the person who started this, he goes by the name of Sebastian Simon. That is his original name, but he has re-Christianed himself as Seeman. Seeman is Sanskrit Shriman, Shriman, Srimati, Shriman. So this fellow is a failed director, and he managed to get 5 to 6% of the vote share in 2021 assembly elections. So he's not a lightweight, he's growing, but it was never clear whether he was DMK's B team or not until yesterday. What happened yesterday? Well, what happened was Mr. Seeman or Mr. Sebastian Simon, whichever flavor you like, he has said that he will be part of DMK's plans and he will contest from Ramanathapuram if DMK does not put a candidate. This Sashtang Namaskar, because he has been very heavily criticizing the DMK regime. Why did this happen? All it took was one female to lodge a complaint. And Annamalai, never somebody to let go of an opportunity, took pot shots at Seeman. That video is also doing the rounds in Twitter and other social media platforms. You guys can watch that to see for yourself. The interesting thing here is it is now very clear that NTK is a plan B or B team of DMK. It was intended to cut into the votes of perhaps ADMK and BJP because he suddenly has become religious now. He's become devout. He goes to temples, he puts vibhuti, and this kind of what I call as two-facedness is very common among all the politicians in India. They, like, you take Rahul Gandhi, for example. He says he is a Janodari Brahmin, but whenever he is, he is supposed to take Tirath, he puts out his left hand. Hari, itne bhi tamiz nahi hai isko? And it's just basic thing. Somebody who, accompanies him in his Bharat Jodo Yatra, a small kid of 8 years or 10 years old, he's wearing a jano, except he's wearing the jano in the wrong way. The way he was wearing it is when you actually do your tarpan of your parents. I mean, these people are, they are just bald-faced liars. They don't have any clue of the religion. They have no clue. They think that by doing all this tamasha, they can get the votes of the Sanatanis. And it is stupid Sanatanis, stupid us, that we need to wake up and smell the coffee/tea, whichever it is that you drink when you get up in the morning. Most important point is this padayatra is really gathering momentum. It is really invoking strong feelings among people, and the other side, that is the DMK, I don't know which other card it's going to take. I'm still ambivalent about Mr. Rajinikanth. I don't know what he is going to do. Remember that every movie made in Tamil Nadu has a DMK hand in it. In fact, Udhayanidhi Stalin's own company called Red Giant Movies or something like that. If you don't pay the toll there, nothing happens. In fact, even Kamala Hassan, another converted Christian, by the way, his Vishwarupam ran into headwinds, not at the hands of Jayalalitha, but at the hands of these guys, because he was showing terrorism. So the thing here is Bollywood Kollywood. Kollywood is Kodambakam or Tamil version of movies. Kollywood is completely captured by Christians. I am not saying this in a way or a racial way or anything like that. This is the fact. They have set the agenda and they are in hand in glove with the ladies, and the movies are vitriolic. Even the same devout Rajini has made so many movies where he takes pot shots at Sanatana Dharma also. Nothing is beyond them. Not only this, the Indian National Congress is in serious trouble because their Tamil Nadu party chief himself also said that destroying Sanatan Dharma is a part of the coalition's agenda. He could have kept quiet. He did not. Not only that, Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, the president of INC today, he has said the same thing, that if you vote for BJP in 2024, then it will become, the country will become completely Sanatani. What's wrong with that? India has always been a Hindu Rashtra. What nonsense are you talking, Mr. Kharge? And the thing is, his son goes one step further. He goes and appoints Mohammad Zubair as the fact checker for Karnataka state. I mean, you could have as well allowed the fox to guard the hen house. These are all stupid things where people think that by doing all these things, they can get their grip around the vote bank. I have a feeling, looking at the kind of response that other people of other community are following Annamalai's Padyatra. I don't know if you saw that. I shared another video with you where a lot of the members of the Christian community marched along with him. And same way, a lot of people from the Muslim community also are marching along. So this is not something that is isolated to one. It is a movement clearly aimed at trying to tell the people, I am the alternative. I am an alternative here. Look at me. And I think ADMK is in some amount of stress right now. They keep posturing, and their second rank leaders keep making loud statements about Annamalai and so on. But this is all going to be a futile exercise. We have to wait and see where the chips will fall. My 2 cents is, I think BJP will do better if they go it alone, especially looking at the kind of response that Annamalai is getting in the southern part of Tamil Nadu. I'm not saying that everywhere in Tamil Nadu the response is going to be this good, but we have to wait and see, because this is like gathering momentum, right? So we don't know how much more this is going to go. Clearly, people have told me Tenkasi is not a big town; it's a reasonable town. The people have shown their thousands and thousands, and they are saying that lakhs are showing up. This is all organic. If you have watched my interview with Karthik Gopinath, he'll say he has been there. He is on the ground. He was there for 2 or 3 days, part of the Padyatra. So he has told us that this is all organic crowd. It is not buzzed in with the promise of biryani and 200 ml of liquor. It is not. So that is the point here. Now, whatever be the machinations of the DMK party, maybe Udhayanidhi has become notorious, not only in India, perhaps now he's going to be notorious around the world. The intent to launch this person as a national figure may have succeeded. However, whether that is going to be looked at, critically, because remember, it's the INDI alliance is a bunch of crabs in a well. If one crab tries to go up, the other one will try and grab it and pull it down. This is how it will be. So you are seeing some of these reverberations. The Indian National Congress itself is deeply divided on this issue, and if Congress is divided, you can be sure that the others are probably uneasy and squirming. So this is where we stand now. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. Trey Jones wants to know, what's the deal with Manipur crisis poking its head every few weeks? Trey, there is a very detailed report that is available in the disinfolab.org. I urge you to go and read the document. It's about 10 to 11 minutes of reading, but it lays bare the truth. In fact, it gives statistics going back 10, 20 years as to how this whole thing has happened. Clearly, there is a group of cookies and also Chin cookies, who are the illegal immigrants that are coming in from Myanmar. They are trying to play the Christian card, and the truth is that a Meitei Christian also got driven out, a Meitei Muslim also got driven out. They were doing ethnic cleansing of one tribe. It was nothing to do with religion. But then who's doing checking of facts? Everybody is just getting drunk on news. The more sensational it is, the more they follow. This is where things are. And I have done some of the most extensive coverage of Manipur on P Gurus. Please go back and watch some of those things, and you'll get a better idea of what this is. Clearly, now I can tell you that the Meiteis are the ones suffering, and the Kukis are really, really trying to turn on the heat. Nagas are watching, standing by and watching, but it is possible that they might jump into. More importantly, the drug cultivation that had started inside Manipur, that has been more or less completely destroyed. Now the government has to be watchful, make sure that this thing doesn't start again. Many hills have been deforested so that they could cultivate opium. Now that's a real problem. Trees will take years to grow back. How that is going to be handled is a matter of on its own. But more importantly, this illegal immigration from Myanmar has to stop. It's not just Manipur, it's also Mizoram, it's also Tripura, all the bordering states which share the border with Myanmar. We have to wait and see. Sandhya Rajagopalan wants to know, sir, who is behind the toolkit on Udhayanidhi? Is the dot matrix alliance trying to get rid of DMK, or DMK trying to find grounds for leaving dot matrix alliance? Sandhya, see, just like these guys have what Sunil something, Karnataka Congress got one of the IPA, Prashant Kishore's group. They got one of them to do the campaigning. I'm sure Prashant Kishore is still having some of his people, do this campaigning. This was very cleverly calibrated. Prashant Kishore believes in, breaking down the fissures of every society, finding the fault lines and exploiting it. This is his modus operandi. I hate to admit this is, but this is effective from a poll point of view, and that's how the DMK came to power. BJP has to really, really effectively counter it. Annamalai is doing his job, but it is not just that. There has to be more pushback from various people, and they need to effectively take advantage of this faux pas by Udhayanidhi Stalin and make sure that they win all 4 states in coming in the next the elections for which are coming in the next few weeks. Once they do that, then what happens is all these people will know that there are restrictions around the freedom of speech that they espouse. And a few criminal elements in the Christian community, the Islamic community, these people are just at work all the time. You need to act with them firmly, and justice needs to be done quickly. This has been my favorite rant for a long time. I don't want to go into that more, but I think things are happening on the ground also. Next one, please. Jyotishmati wants to know, Sri, do you release the Kindle version? Jyotishmati, I'm planning to not release the Kindle version of my book. And the reason is simple. I think I told this before. There is some sort of a loophole in Kindle's algorithm, which is called as digital rights management. So in one of the platforms, it looks like people can break the code that Kindle uses to encrypt the books. And once they break it, they get the entire book as a PDF file free. Then what they do is they go on Google Play, create their own app, and there they say, read Sri Iyer's book for free to try and get traffic to their site. It's not just Sri Iyer, Chetan Bhagat, everybody who's everybody has been ripped off. So this time what I did was I said, I am not going to do this thing. I'm going to have my own app where I know I can control the encryption. So today, if you want to read my new book, just download the app. If you are using Android, go to Google Play and look for Sri Iyer, one word, and that's the app. You can download it. You can purchase the ebook from there, and you can read the thing right there on that. And same way on iPhone also, App Store, you can go and look for Sri Iyer, download the app, and you can read the book there. Thanks, and I really, really thank you for supporting me, because the overheads that Amazon charges are just, it's like I have to come away with one arm left to Amazon. And when you buy the books from our site, when you buy the ebooks from our site, you are actually helping us, because we don't have to give this huge commission, this huge cut that Amazon demands from us. We can chart our own territory. Please help me in this effort. Thank you. Kala Raman wants to know, sir, could you please bring Mr. Ramesh? Yes, he is coming on Thursday. As a matter of fact, 9 a.m. Thursday, he will be live and we'll be discussing about the Indian economy in UP. In fact, you kind of snatched the words from my mouth. This is exactly what we are going to do. Look at Indian economy, the capitalism and markets, how the companies behave in India, and so on and so forth. And it's going to be a series of talks. The first one is going to be on Thursday at 10 a.m. Thanks for bringing this up, Kala. NK Jaiprakash wants to know, Udhayanidhi Stalin said he's a Christian convert. His wife is a Christian. Udhayanidhi Stalin is seen reading what is given to him by a priest. Yes, that's what makes it even more dangerous. He cannot walk it away saying that it was a passion of the moment or an off-the-cuff remark, that he didn't really mean it. When you read something written by somebody else, it becomes a lot more harder to defend. I think he's in hot water. I think this guy is going to go and see the jail. Not very long from now. Just wait and see. Just before I was coming on this program, I saw that somebody has filed a lawsuit in Muzaffarnagar, of all places. So this is pan-India. Okay, people are really, really, really incensed. That's the only word I can say. Next one, please. Samanya, hi Nagaraj. Can Uday stop her mother who follows Sanatana? Well, actually, Uday wants to off his mother. If you say I'm going to destroy Sanatana Dharma, what do you mean? That's what I understand. It is a genocide. A lot of people have come out with a clear interpretation by law. If somebody goes and looks at what he said and say this is how the law looks at what Udhayanidhi Stalin said, it implies that he's actually saying that all Sanatanis must be killed. I just want our viewers to take one step back. Do you think Udhayanidhi Stalin could have replaced Sanatana Dharma with Islam or Christianity and survived? Would he even be able to get out of his house? That's the question. Deepak wants to know, how can this free revdi culture be curtailed? Deepak, several steps are being taken. And unfortunately, it's not a simple single step. First, for example, India really monitors the money coming into the country ahead of elections. And that basically means that because all these politicians have money parked abroad and they bring that in for financing the elections. Now that has become very hard. So what they have to do, they have to source the money from within. In fact, it is believed that DK Shivkumar, who had a big interest in Cafe Coffee Day, was demanding some payment back from the person who killed himself, Siddharth, and the son-in-law of, I think he was the son-in-law of S.B. Krishna. And so that's what happened. And so why did he need that money? There were probably some expenses involved. We know that Bharat Jodo Yatra was completely financially underwritten by DK Shivkumar. He was expecting that in return he would become the CM of Karnataka. Unfortunately, that math didn't turn out as planned. So you know now. So there is another video that I've done where I discussed about various assets of various people. And in detail, I looked at Chidambaram's asset, and I had predicted that this is one of the people that could be funding the Indie Alliance, because the party that funds the alliance will be the one who will make claim to the prime ministership. And it could be Mamata Banerjee, it could be Sharad Pawar. They all have the kind of money that it takes to run an election. Now these things are going to run into lakhs of crores, but they have the money. So what is the government done? The other thing the government has done is now they've phased out 2,000 rupee notes. So if you're going to individually bribe voters, you got to have a lot more money now, because the biggest tender is only 500 rupees. In a few years, I expect it to be in a few years. In fact, my new book, Paper in, Money Out, explains a way for the Modi government to phase out the 500 rupee note in like 3 years. If they do that, then the biggest legal tender will be 200 rupee notes, and then it will be literally impossible to cart money around to fund the elections. And once they make that as the only way to fund, then what they can do is they can start monitoring vehicles. In fact, it is known fact that many states, when they are in power, they use the police vehicles, police vans to actually distribute money. Very, very sad, but that is how low the legal and law and order system has sunk to. Police can refuse, they don't. That is the problem. So you see, the free revdi culture will go away once this happens. But more importantly, BJP needs to hammer home. They are not doing this. This is something that I'm kind of a little upset. They need to hammer home that in a state like Himachal Pradesh, where they said that they'll bring back the old pension scheme, what happened? They don't have any money. Same thing with Punjab. All the promises, BS. So these things you have to hammer home day in and day out and put the guys under pressure, because then what happens is they will have to blurt out saying that we made a mistake. Unless you make the APs of the world, the INCs of the world to admit that we didn't know that there was no money in the exchequer, whatever excuse they want to give. The thing is, Revdis are only in name. They don't do anything. But that message has to be done not by saying it again and again, but by making the other side admit that it was just a jumla. Next one, please. Rahul Rathod wants to know, is there any way out to stop conversion activities of minorities, because these guys are challenging tolerance of Sanatana Dharma very often now, and still Hindus are not responding? Your views. Rahul, let me ask you this question. Udhayanidhi makes this comment. Did 10 people gather in front of his house and protest and say you should apologize? Did at least 5 people shout slogans? Did 10 people put private Facebook messages? Everybody is scared because the DMK is very vindictive. Sitting inside Tamil Nadu, you say one word out of line and they come and jail you. 4 a.m. in the morning. In fact, one of my good friends who was arrested, he was arrested at 4 a.m. in the morning, and he was booked under Gundas Act. So he had to spend 6 months in jail. You know what the police did? They go to his house at 4 o'clock, okay, and they are handcuffing him. And one of the constables looks at an iPad lying around in the room. He tries to steal it. This is the police for you. The police was trying to steal an iPad of a person that they were trying to arrest. How low can the police department sink? He has actually tweeted about it. So if police is really sincere about following up, they can go and look at the timeline. You know who I am talking about. If you don't know who I am talking about, then you are dumber than what I thought. Next question, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, if Udhayanidhi wants a lot of Sanatana, wants to get rid of Sanatana, I beg your pardon, let him also not seek Sanatana votes and temple funds. This is the irony. The HR&CE minister with Vibhuti, just like me, was also there at the time this guy made that statement in that conference, Destroy Sanatana Dharma conference. Freedom of speech has run amok, and it's time some of these people get jailed. Clearly, this is something that is happening with a view to try and say that the Christians control the vote. We will get the votes for you as long as you keep putting out the nonsense that we want you to put out. If DMK doesn't have a spine, then they don't deserve to rule anymore. Next question, please. Jyotishmati wants to know, Xavier Rodriguez hangout will be aired again because that day due to network issue it was aired. Yes, indeed, Jyotishmati. Yes, we are waiting for Xavier to get a LAN connection so that, see, you have to understand, P-Gurus is now marked. Chinese don't like us. Sometimes India doesn't like us. Sometimes America doesn't like us, and who knows who else doesn't like us. I'm sure the India Alliance hates us, and therefore, when we bring out the truth, nobody wants it. This is becoming inconvenient. So they try to see if they can somehow disrupt some of these more, what I would call as radical, in the sense, not radical, but more thought-provoking videos. Xavier Rodriguez is a practicing Catholic. He comes and says that what is happening is wrong. So the Catholics are now saying, wait a minute, this guy is saying something else. He's in BJP. Maybe we should listen to him instead of our local pastor who keeps telling us to vote against BJP. So people have formed this opinion that BJP is bad. Whether you take Goa, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, I'm sure in Andhra Pradesh this is going to start because Mr. Jagan Mohan Reddy has been quietly proselytizing a lot. And again, Mr. Amit Shah and Narendra Modi don't seem to have a problem with that. Very surprising, I tell you. Very surprising. So who is fighting? Only a handful of us. And when a good friend of mine from Dallas protested against, issuing some people creating churches built on property that didn't belong, illegal property, and those churches were taken down, you know what they did? They brought Muslims to do dharna in front of his house in Dallas. These guys are ruthless, I'm telling you. Tomorrow I expect people to come and stand in front of my home and chant too. It doesn't matter as long as they don't touch my property. You touch anything, then you are in trouble. We'll have 4 video cameras taking pictures and videos of all these things. The thing is, when a crook knows that he's going to do something crooked, then he's going to try and do as much damage as possible and create as much deniability, plausible deniability causes, so that he can always try to escape. It's only the innocent, when they commit a crime, that they are caught, because they didn't intend to do it. When somebody has the intent to do something bad, they also try to do their best to cover it up. So we have to make sure that some things like this don't happen. Again, I'm very confident that once he has his network issue solved, we will have uninterrupted discussion with Savio. So just stay tuned. Uta Kumar wants to know why Hindus vote DMK despite knowing they are against us. It is fault of our Hindu brothers and sisters. Who are watching this? We are all middle class people. Ask yourself, when the government gives you a day off to go and cast your vote in elections, what do? It's usually during the weekend. So you combine that with the other days of the weekend and go somewhere for a trip. What about casting the vote? It is not enough if you are Twitter warriors, if you are Facebook warriors, if you are armchair specialists. We have to go and do your duty. And I say this thing very, very carefully. I'm weighing my words carefully, because I've never missed voting in any election in the United States. And when I was in India, I used to vote in India too. And they used to put my booth at the farthest point possible for a constituency to make us walk that distance. But I used to do that. And not only that, I used to bring all the neighbors along. I used to take them and show them where the booth is. It will be in some obscure place. See, these are all tricks all politicians play, including BJP. That day, those times, BJP was not a big force to reckon with. But this is all. They don't want the middle class vote. They want to make it as hard as possible for you to vote, because you guys will vote the truth. So you should vote. Make sure from today, make sure that your vote is pakka, that you can actually know you have your vote, your family members have their votes, you know where your booth is, that you can plan this. You go early in the morning, there's hardly any crowd. You can still make a 3-day weekend out of it if you go and do this thing first thing in the morning. Next question, please. Deepak wants to know, will there be a new version of P-Guru's app? The old app does not work in new Android. We are debugging this, Deepak. Give us a day or two. We will have some solution. There is a solution, but there are still some issues. It has to do with some of the calls that are being made. Stay tuned. We are going to have that thing fixed. This is the top priority that our team is working on right now. Tava Pita? Is that Tava Pita? My dad? What is the significance of the Tirukkural in Tamil Sanatan culture? Dr. Nagaswamy, Padma Bhushan awardee, he had deciphered Tirukkural, and he said that it is nothing but Manusmriti. Word for word, phrase for phrase. Okay? So it's not different. It is as Sanatani as Manu Dharma and Manusmriti. And basically these people have, just like, appropriating Periyar. Periyar was one of those rascals who Nehru wrote to Kamaraj saying that this guy should be put in a mental asylum. And yet these people are trying to exploit it, because they think that they need to create that narrative, because Periyar had this anti-idolatry, he also had anti-Brahmin, and this is where the crux of the matter is. And then they want to use the same thing. They use Brahmins to bash, because they know that the Brahmins are probably 1 to 2% of the population, and they don't fight back. Well, you may be in for a surprise. A lot of us are now speaking up. It's not going to be so easy anymore. Anyway, that's where things stand. Tirukkural is nothing but Manusmriti. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Namaskaram, the response of BJP to Udhayanidhi has been kind of muted. Why aren't they taking the right stance at this electoral godsend? No, I think they are taking. Amit Malaviya came out swinging. Then Amit Shah gave a speech in which he took pot shots at Udhayanidhi Stalin. So this is taking a big life. Just wait and watch. And Annamalai has been unsparing in his criticism. He has given 2 or 3 videos already. I think the response is pretty good. You never let go of a opportunity like this. The most important thing, Magnet Ranga, is how much they distribute this information by way of videos, by way of translations, by way of pamphlets to these 4 states that are going to polls. That is the immediate task for BJP. They've got something like it's like the front foot no ball. they know that the next ball is going to be a full toss. They need to figure out which part of the gallery they need to send that ball to. I hope you understood. Next one, please. Shali Sharma wants to know, Mr. Iyer, can we see Dr. Swami taking Udhayanidhi Stalin plus how the Tamil population has been normal to such a shit spoken by the DMK hooligans? See, here is Dr. Swami's warning. Is DMK on a suicide mode? This silly anti-national attack on Sanatana Dharma is suicidal, as was MK's consorting with LTTE in 1990-91. MK is Muthuvel Karunanidhi. In fact, that was the reason why the government was dismissed. I was then having Rajiv Gandhi's support and got dismissed DMK government for MK helping LTTE. Let MK's son learn from that. Stop this mad anti-Hinduism or else ... There you go. That is the answer. I hope that answers your question, Shali. Thank you, Archana Kotavadekar. Good work, Ayerji. We are with you and Sanatana Dharma. Thank you so much. Namaskar. Prashant Apandkar. Thank you so much for your donation. Ill effects of Revdi culture should be taught in school. This is going to go away, Prashant. It's not going to be around for long. As a matter of fact, the Reserve Bank and the central government are taking a very benign attitude of those states that are really under debt. They are actually bankrupt, if you ask me. They have no way of paying interest, leave alone the principal. So for these things, they need a little bit more support from the people. By that, I mean a bigger mandate in 2024. You give that to them, I guarantee you Modi will start tightening the screws. Once that happens, everything will go for a toss. These guys will not be able to stand up anymore. In fact, I expect that at least 12 DMK ministers or senior politicians of DMK will be under the ED net. We've only seen 3, Sendil Balaji, Ponmudi, and Anita Radhakrishnan. Many more are going to be coming through. Just wait and watch. Thank you, victim blamer, professional. Why target only the individual and not the organization behind them? Why not ask the church and the Christian organization for condemnation? Well, this is not a church organization, right? This is some XYZ individuals who did this. And they have been saying this for a long time. I have been, if you watch T.R. Ramesh's interactions on P Gurus, I've said this thing. There is a guy called Tiruma Valavan, and this fellow says he's a scheduled caste, but many people say he's actually converted to Christianity. And every meeting he starts out saying, my goal in life is to destroy Sanatana Dharma. He's been saying this for months now. In fact, years. What has anyone done about it? Nothing. So this thing has to stop. In fact, the VCK means Vidudalai Chiruttai Katchi. That means it's an LTTE supporter, sympathizing party. Okay, this is the extent to which the LTTE has spread its influence in Tamil Nadu. In fact, there was a meeting in London where the LTTE people were questioning Tirumavalavan, what the hell have you done for the money we gave you? And in a fit of anger, you can see this video on YouTube, he starts pulling into his pocket, takes out bills and starts throwing them on his face. This is his answer as to what he has done for them. So you have lumpens, you have anti-national lumpens. The Seeman also, that Sebastian Simon also is similar. His links also are with LTTE. Okay, because that is the other organization that funds the Tamil movies. And I don't know the details behind the lady who has given a complaint against Mr. Sebastian Simon. He's in deep trouble. Otherwise, he would not have done Sashtang Namaskar to DMK if it was not for the fact that they have the proof. In fact, the way Mr. Muthuvel Karunanidhi used to run the party against not just his own people, but also the opposite parties, he used to have a CD of everybody else. This is what he used to use to threaten them. I'm sure this thing is still alive and well. I don't know how effective it is. That is the question, effectiveness. See, the CD game can be played only effectively if you have the other person's CD and not vice versa. If the other person also has your CD, then it becomes a CD contest. I mean, in fact, India can have 1 week of CD releases. Everybody's CD, bring it out. Because after that 1 week, all these things will die down. Then you can see who's the real politician, who's the real leader. Next one, please. Victim blamer again. Thank you. Salvatore made a good suggestion, caste is equal to jati. I don't think so. See, the thing about jati is it's a little bit more nuanced than saying the caste is a foreign word. Why do we need to go? When you have your own expressions, varna is what you profess. For example, my name may be Sri Iyer. That may sound that I'm a Brahmin, but I'm not. I'm running my own company. That means I am a Vaishya, and I'm also fighting with my word, so I'm a Kshatriya, and I also teach, so I'm a Brahmin too. So these are all the ways people have evolved now. A mother, for example, she's all of the things rolled in one. When she's teaching her children in the morning homework, she's the form of Ma Saraswati, hence a Brahmin. When if she takes care of the household expenses, she's a Vaishya. When somebody tries to bash up their kids, she's the Durga, right? And who's doing all the chores around the house? It is the mom. So she's a Shudra. So this is the thing. We have to understand, internalize this. In the modern day, we all are some part of this varna in our lives. In fact, in every day, we are changing these roles. We are getting into one role, getting out of another role, right? So jati was primarily done to do two things. One, in my opinion, was to make sure that the lineages didn't lead to any problems in terms of progeny. So jatis also had gotras, and the gotras, by being different, when you took a girl from a different gotra, that was a mandated thing that you should not marry somebody from your own gotra. No sagotra weddings. The second thing about jati is a word that was derived from Vigyani, which meant a scientist, and then the scientist slowly evolved into Gyani, fewer syllables, right? And Gyani became jati over time, right? Gyani means specialist. You take, for example, some of the names, right? The word Sreshti means good at something, right? That became Shetty, Sethi, Set, Chetti, all these different Komuti, all these things are same. They were specialists in something. Sony, Sony is what? Sony is a sonar. Sonar is a goldsmith. And I can go on and on. I mean, there are many other names like this. I've done this thing in many other podcasts, explaining how our last name tells us what our predecessors were, what they were good at. That's all. I hope I answered your question. Next one, please. Jayaraman wants to know, why can't we also take steps against Udhayanidhi? Steps are being taken. Dr. Swami has waded in today. That is a major step. That's why I put in my thumbnail title, Udhayanidhi sweating buckets. If there's one person the DMK is deathly afraid of, it is Dr. Swami, because he walks the talk. He doesn't just say something and then walk away. Next one, please. Santosh, hi Sri sir. Who gives them the courage to just say whatever they want against Hindus? This is very scary. Santosh, I asked you back in the question, did 10 people go and stand in front of Udhayanidhi's house and protest? Something worse happened in Kapalishwara temple. Dr. M.R. Venkatesh gathers a group of 100 people to discuss how can we engage the temple more in our lives. What is political about this? Nothing. You know what happened? Police took careful videos and they tried to file FIRs. In fact, some people were actually filed FIRs and they had to go to the police station. This is how bad the DMK group is. They are using the police like it is their doormat, and the police doesn't seem to have a spine. And it is told, in fact, Annamalai has taken pot shot at some people in the intelligence wing who happen to be believing that they are Christians first and IPS officers next. Okay, that is how bad the law and order has deteriorated. By the way, this is not just one state. Every state has this. BJP has better control over these things because they kind of draw within the bounds. These guys don't believe in boundaries and they'll do whatever they want. So you have to find the way to curb them. Let these ED cases go faster. What is happening in Sendil Balaji's case? Why is he not yet in jail? That's the question I would like to know. Next question, please. Thank you, Ravi Shankar. Magnet Ranga again, IRG people are commenting about what Udhayanidhi has said, and rightly so too. But nobody's talking about the kind of seminar that has been organized. Well, Magnet Ranga, you go to any preacher, there is another rascal by the name of Jagat Gasper. This fellow is needed on, he's on the red alert of, red notice of FBI. I have, said this many times, yet the FBI never seems to want to act. This fellow was gun running in US when he was caught. And he straddles Tamil Nadu and Sri Lanka back and forth. And he is now considered to be an intellectual. He partakes in a lot of debates, runs free. Why is he not being arrested? This is not Indian government. I'm talking about FBI. Why are they not arresting him? See, that is the point. Everybody seems to have a track B for doing something else for somebody. And this fellow is very close with Kanimori. So you can see where these things, they're all like hydras. They're spread out everywhere. Next thing you learn is suddenly Kanimori also says, now I am a Christian. Who knows? Anything is possible. Next one, please. Kala Raman wants to know, sir, could you please make a video on what NDA has done to the defense sector? A lot of things have been done, a lot more needs to be done. Kala, you should watch some of my interviews with Lieutenant General Ravi Shankar, because he was the one who headed the Atmanirbharta program when Manohar Parrikar was the defense minister. They got a lot of things done. He has set up a lot of things to happen inside India indigenously. I will invite him back to kind of take stock on how much indigenization is in the work. In fact, he had also suggested a more productive alternative for that new scheme, Agniveer scheme. And I'm told that some of these suggestions are being implemented now. For example, he said, don't send back, I think 50%. Or whatever the number, but just send back 15% and retain others instead of 5 years, 7 years, a few small things like that. But all of those will benefit not just the country, but also the community. Next. I think that's all we have for today. Guys, this has been exceptional. Your response to my hangout. I just announced half an hour ago and you all came to listen to me. Thank you so much. And a sincere thanks from the bottom of my heart. And please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.